Welcome! I am so excited to jump into today's explainer on predictions and plot, Raymond's Run. All right, let's get right to it. We've got three main targets today: making and justifying predictions with solid evidence, identifying key plot stages, and explaining exactly how a character's goals and point of view actually shape those predictions. Before we get into the heavy lifting, we need to bust a massive misconception. A prediction? It is not just a random, evidence-free guess. Nope, it's a logical inference that is completely grounded in textual evidence. If you're just throwing out random ideas about what might happen next without pointing to a specific detail in the text, you're guessing. You aren't predicting. Second, let's avoid another super common trap. The climax of a story is the major turning point of the conflict, for sure, but it's not automatically the final event of the story. The climax is literally just the peak of the tension, that huge moment when things shift. But the story doesn't just stop right there. You still have the falling action and the resolution coming up right behind it. To really visualize how this all works together, we use the 5 core stages of a plot. Think of it kind of like a roller coaster. You start with the exposition, slowly build up that anticipation during the rising action, hit the very top at the climax we just talked about, coast down through the falling action, and finally come to a complete stop at the resolution. Okay, let's put these skills into practice with a quick micro-narrative I created for us. Picture this opening scene. Leo slammed his locker. "You lost my lucky track spikes," he yelled. His brother, Sam, flinched, then silently opened his own gym bag and began pulling out every single item, his face pale. Right away, we can map out this exposition. We've got Leo and Sam with the lockers before a big race. You can see exactly how Leo's goal, to find his lucky spikes so he can win, along with his frustrated, blame-heavy point of view, shape this whole initial conflict. On the flip side, we clearly see Sam's point of view. He's startled and absolutely desperate to prove his innocence or fix whatever mistake just happened. So let's pause for a quick knowledge check. Based only on the text we just heard, what is the strongest piece of evidence you can use to predict that an apology is coming? Remember, we need real textual evidence to make a valid prediction, not just a gut feeling. All right, is it option A, Leo's angry accusation yelling about the lost spikes? Or is it option B, Sam silently pulling every single item out of his gym bag with a pale face? Take a second to think about which action actually pushes the plot toward uncovering the truth. If you guessed option B, you hit the nail on the head. Sam's frantic search is concrete textual evidence. It shows an active attempt to resolve the conflict, which sets up a realization of truth that will absolutely demand an apology from whoever ends up being wrong. Leo is just reacting with pure emotion, but Sam is actively investigating. Now let's move to the next part of our created story and see how this plot builds. Sam reached the very bottom of the overflow bag Leo had handed him earlier. He pulled out the spikes. "Leo," Sam said quietly, "they were in your overflow bag all along." Ooh, plot twist. Here is our second knowledge check. What stage of the plot does this brand new detail represent? And more importantly, how must we revise our earlier prediction now that we have new evidence? Think about how the entire conflict just shifted based on the character's goals. Is this new detail part of the rising action, or is it the climax? And as for our revised prediction, does Sam apologize to Leo, or does Leo apologize to Sam? Okay, the crucial takeaway here is that this moment is the climax. It's the major turning point of the conflict. And because Leo's point of view was just proven completely wrong, we have to revise our prediction to state that Leo will be the one apologizing to Sam. The tension peaked, the truth came out, and their dynamic just permanently shifted. Following that climax, the story quickly shifts into the falling action. Leo realizes his mistake and starts feeling incredibly guilty. That leads directly to the resolution, where Leo actually apologizes to Sam, and they head out to the track together. See how perfectly that maps out? The climax was the major turning point, but the resolution was the final event that actually brought the conflict to a close. Let's wrap up with a quick recap of our skills. First, making a prediction requires citing specific textual evidence, not just guessing, and considering how a character's goals and point of view drive their actions. Second, a plot develops through 5 distinct stages, where the climax serves as the turning point, not simply the final event. Third, by tracking these elements, you can continuously revise your predictions as new evidence is revealed. Now, a quick reminder, you absolutely must use an authorized copy of Raymond's Run for text-specific application. So, here's your transfer question. Using your authorized text, what is Squeaky's primary goal in the exposition, and how does her point of view shape your initial prediction about Gretchen? Dive into your text, find that evidence, and map out Squeaky's point of view. Will her actions match your predictions, or is the climax going to completely flip the script? Thank you for joining me for this explainer on predictions and plot, Raymond's Run.